All right, we are here with Mr. KuRonde Washington, the director of bands here at William & Raines High School, and we just wanted to speak with Mr. Washington. Mr. Washington's in his 12th year as a band director of historic William & Raines High School. Mr. Washington, what led you to pursue a career as a music educator?
Well, I've always had an interest in music, so I knew that I would pick a career that had something to do with music. I wasn't quite sure. I always enjoyed arranging music, and I was in the band from 6th grade all the way through college, so I think it just kind of found me in a sense. I really didn't pick my major until my second year in college, so after years of going through it, I kind of just decided that teaching music would be the field that I should pursue.
And you were a graduate of Bethune Cookman University, so
yeah.
Tell us about your experience in marching, being a part of the Marching Pride.
Wonderful experience, man. I wouldn't take it back for anything, even though I planned on going some other places. Bethune was actually my home, so I fell right into there, and I was able to grow with that program the way that I am with Raines program, because we started off small as well, so it groomed me for the position that I'm in now. So coming from a piece band that was 96 pieces before I got there, growing to 225, and then the year after 300, and then it just kept growing. It taught me how to grow a program when I got to Raines, so I got in and rolled my sleeves up and got to work, so that's what it did.
So I mentioned earlier that you're in your 12th year. You're the second longest. You're almost gonna be the longest. You got a couple more years, and eventually you'll be the longest serving band director in Raines history. What have been some of the highlights over your 12 years of being here at Raines?
Some of the highlights would be to actually see my kids go to college and enjoy the college experience marching in band the same way I did, or even better. And then to see them actually coming back and giving back to the school, it really shows the growth in the program, and that if they stick to the plan that we set out, that it will work for those people. So that's my biggest highlight. It has its ups and downs, but to see those kids actually go to college and be something, that's really what I enjoy.
That's the goal. So you talked about the highlights. What are some of the challenges or some obstacles that high school band directors, particularly being in a urban school district, that you face?
The challenges would be that we don't have a dedicated feeder. We don't have a feeder at all, so I can't even say dedicated. So the hardest part is trying to get kids interested in music in 9th, 10th grade, and still try to put them in a position to receive a scholarship when they graduate. So that's always my biggest deal. So every year, it seems like I'm always rebuilding the program from scratch. So some years I feel like I'm not going to have a program at all, or sometimes not even a job, but somehow over the summer everything just kind of comes on around. But that's always been my biggest challenge, and it's not just my school but other schools around, but I think on the north side we have it the toughest, and I'm here to just try to keep some consistency so others can kind of benefit from it the way that the students that have been here have.
So with you guys not having a feeder, what advice would you give to an elementary or middle school student? We know that Raines is one of those legacy schools where students kind of think about, they know they want to go to Raines in elementary or middle school, but if they're thinking that they want to be in the band and their school doesn't have a feeder, what is some advice you would give to potential band members?
I would have their parents just go ahead right now and probably just start playing a recorder, getting on a keyboard, anything that would get them learning music at a young age. Because once they get turned on to music at a younger age, just like I did, I started on the keyboard probably at about 6-7 years old, and I was able to understand pitch and music. So the younger the better. You'll never lose what you have when you're younger, but once you're older, it's much harder to try to teach the old dog a new trick. But if they start at the elementary, middle school level, more primarily elementary level, it will help us a whole lot by the time they get to high school.
Good. What can alumni and former members of the band do to support and help the program? You always hear alumni in the stands, or they're on social media, and they share their memories about the band program. What can they do if they want to just support the band?
The biggest thing I would need from alumni is to encourage the people in their communities to start a band or start playing an instrument at a younger age, just like we just said, because they could sit in the stands and go and kind of talk about the things that they did when they were in school. Like, back in my day we did this, back in my day we did that, but it's not back in the day anymore. We're under new circumstances. So I would encourage those alumni members to go ahead and try to reach out to kids that's in their communities that might live right next door, that don't do anything with themselves after school. They're just running around creating mischief. So if they can kind of help me in that way, I wouldn't need any real help from alumni. I would need, it starts in the community, it starts at home, it starts at elementary and middle school. So again, by the time they see me, I would have a good foundation, but it's hard to build a foundation if you don't have any materials to work with. So alumni, I'm encouraging all of you guys to really get out there in the community and put your money where your mouth is, roll up your sleeves, get out there in the community and talk to these young people and get them to buy into music. So that way when you get to a Rains game, you won't have to say, well, what happened to the band? You'd already know.
Final thoughts. It just announced recently that you were the Teacher of the Year this school year for Rains. How does that feel that your peers, out of all the teachers, chose to vote you in as a teacher that they want to highlight? What does that mean to you?
I mean, it feels good and everything. I've never been in it for the accolades. I'm always in it just to do the work because I love music. So to get the accolades along with it, I enjoy it. So again, I'm very thankful that they thought that highly of me to select me for it. But it wouldn't make a difference to me whether I pick me or not. I'd still be here doing that same work. I enjoy my job, so to get it, I greatly appreciate it. But I really appreciate everybody putting more important effort into the arts program, so it wouldn't have to be that every year they're picking core teachers, the STEM, the science, the math, and those kind of areas. They are important, but we need more arts integrated into those areas so that we can kind of collaborate and get a total student.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Washington, for your insights.